So in today's episode of Both Sides Are Definitely Not the Same, we're going to be taking a look at how Republicans are back at it, playing one of the oldest hits in their songbook, demonizing and vilifying Social Security. And then we're going to take a look at how Democrats like Bernie Sanders are proposing a 32-hour work week. But before we get to that, let's take a look at Ben Shapiro, who says retirement is just a ridiculous idea. I mean, unless you get sick or something, you should just work till you drop. Take a look at this clip.
And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. It's totally crazy. Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Hey, Joe Biden is 81 years old. The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years, and he wants to continue in office until he is 86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement. No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years. And if you talk to people who are elderly and they lose their purpose in life by losing their job and they stop working, things go to hell in a handbasket real quick.
So basically what he's saying there is he just wants you to work at that Walmart till you drop. And he thinks retirement is ridiculous. And I mean, you might have some sort of health issue, maybe. That might make you retire early. Apparently, Ben Shapiro has never been to my part of the world because every man in my family was forced into retirement before the age of 65, and it's because of the jobs they did in my part of the world. When you come from a part of the world where logging and coal mining are your two top jobs, yeah, you don't make it to 65. You don't make it that far. You might make it to 65 doing what Ben Shapiro's sitting there doing, which is pumping out a bunch of bullshit. But if you actually roll up your sleeves and go to work in my part of the world, you don't make it that far. But they think retirement's ridiculous. They think it should be done away with altogether, that there shouldn't even be any such thing. And Social Security, that's just a Ponzi scheme, according to Matt Walsh. Check out this clip.
So let's clarify a few things here. First of all, when you receive Social Security, you are not getting the money that you paid into the system. The money you receive is not your money. That money, your money, is gone. The government has spent it. It is gone. The government is not taking Social Security from you and your paycheck and keeping it in a special box. Or was it the lock box, I think is what Al Gore said. And, keeping it there to give to you when you retire. That's not the way the system works. No, the system is a giant state-run Ponzi scheme where current beneficiaries are paid out of the contributions of people who are currently working. So you are not funding your own retirement with the Social Security that you pay. You are funding the retirement of currently retired people. It is, again, a Ponzi scheme, and one that becomes less and less sustainable with each passing year.
See, that's one of the oldest tricks in the Republican book, which is to demonize and vilify Social Security, demonize and vilify anyone out there drawing Social Security, and that way you can turn your voters against the whole idea. Because for years, what Republicans love to do is they love to come to places like my part of the world and say, hey, the reason you can't get ahead in this world is because people out there is mooching off the system. You're working for a living, and these people over here are drawing off the government, and they're getting a handout, and they're not working for a living. And that has always resonated with people in my part of the world. I know so many people who will get all bent out of shape if they're at the grocery store and see someone using an EBT card. They'll get all bent out of shape if someone out there is drawing Social Security. And they won't say a word about the companies that put their offices in the Cayman Islands and didn't pay an ounce of taxes. They won't say nothing about that. If you even point that out to them, they'll say, oh, they had to do it because the system is being so unfair to them. It's so mind-boggling to me watching people in my part of the world defend billionaires and defend corporations and say, oh, we have to do everything they say because if we don't, we won't be able to have a job. That's what the Republicans have duped people in my part of the world into believing for years. And now Bernie Sanders is out there saying that we should have he's got a bill that's saying that we should have a 32-hour work week. And Republicans are losing their mind over that because heaven forbid people actually get some time off. Heaven forbid people don't work themselves to death. Heaven forbid someone doesn't just stay at the Walmart until they drop dead. But check out Bernie here talking about his 32-hour work week, and then we're going to come back and talk more about it.
Can I talk to you about the 32-hour work week? It seems like Fox Business. It seems like Democrats want businesses to be taxed more, pay their workers.
Really? Is that what you think?
pay their workers.
Excuse me.
I didn't get to ask a question.
Okay, thank you.
Senator,
You want to hold it? Okay. We held a hearing on a 32-hour work week because what we have seen is that over the last 50 years, despite a huge increase in worker productivity, almost all of the new wealth has gone to the top 1%, while 60% of the people are living paycheck to paycheck. Many of our people are exhausted. We work the longest hours of any people in the industrialized world. I think it's time for a shortened work week.
Could I ask you a question about that? It seems like Democrats want businesses to be taxed more,
Really? No, that's not my
pay
assumption.
their
I don't
workers
think
more,
so.
lower
No,
prices,
we think-
and now pay people not to work.
You know what I would like to see?
How are businesses going to survive that? That's the question. How can businesses survive all of those proposals?
When Mr. Bezos pays an effective tax rate lower than the average worker, I think we have a real problem in our tax system. I think that billionaires have got to start paying their fair share.
So on one side of the aisle, you've got people who are trying to demonize and vilify Social Security and say that retirement is a ridiculous concept. Everyone should just work till they drop. And on the other side of the aisle, you got people like Bernie Sanders who has this bill that would reduce the work week down to 32 hours. And if this bill was to pass, your employer wouldn't be able to reduce your pay, nor would they be able to take away any of your benefits. Any hour that would be worked past 8 hours in a day would be time and a half. And any hour that went past 12 hours would be double pay. And this is something that's been tried out in several other countries, and it's catching on. It's working over there. But of course, Republicans will kick and scream against this every step of the way and do nothing but continue to defend the billionaires. I really don't think that Bernie Sanders is out of line when he says that billionaires should pay their fair share. And I don't think we're out of line for saying that. I don't think that's a radical concept. And for people like Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and all these conservative pundits out there, and really we shouldn't call them conservatives, they're just MAGA worshiping assholes. These people, to insinuate that these are handouts, they're not handouts. No one is asking for a handout. Everyone just needs a better hand to play. And that's what's at stake here. Everyone needs a better hand to play. But Republicans will always continue to go after Social Security and go after retirement and demonize and vilify those things. Because all they're out to do at the end of the day is make the rich richer. And they can do this if they keep everyone distracted by Donald Trump. Donald Trump is actually perfect for their movement because he's such a walking train wreck that everyone will keep their attention on that, and everyone will be wanting to fight his battles for him, and everyone will want to buy his sneakers, and everyone will want to buy his merchandise. And they will stay distracted on the fact that they're being worked to death. People in my part of the world are worked to death. And in the end, they get nothing. And all they did their entire life was sit back and root on con artists like Donald Trump. The Ben Shapiros and the Matt Walshes of the world are just put there to distort the argument, to muddy the water, and turn everyone against ideas like Social Security and retirement. But we can't let this happen. We got to stay focused, and I say it all the time, we got to keep our eye on the ball. Because these safety nets that are put in place, if they were yanked out from under everybody, would be a terrible thing. Think about everyone that's in your family. Think about everyone that was forced into retirement early. I'm not talking about people. There are people that mooch the system, okay? Absolutely. We're not talking about that. Think about the people in your family who are out there drawing their Social Security because they were forced into early retirement. That's what you really need to stop and think about the fact that what if that was taken away? It's going to fall on you, ain't it? Ain't it going to fall on you to take care of your family? So let's stop vilifying and demonizing programs like Social Security. Let's stop demonizing and vilifying those that have to retire early. And let's stop calling those things handouts. And let's start calling it what it really is. We need a better hand to play.